What happened in that second half, Brett?
I think their physicality got the better of us. They are the second ranked defensive team in the NBA, and we felt all of that. I thought that they were just more physical. I think that we tried to find production, from different places and struggled. I thought JJ, Joel, and Ben, contributed. But we really struggled trying to find production in other places.
For those other guys that you were just mentioning, was it just sort of just missing open shots? Or
I think there's some of that. Some of it I give credit to Indiana. You really felt how physical they were. And, I think that, Joel's world changed in the second half. Joel was dominant in the first half. It was difficult getting him the ball when we did. We had some turnovers trying to get him the ball. They did a really good job of fronting the post, trying to, play in front of him or driving him out, and the clock is evaporating. But in general, I think that the physicality is what I feel was most prevalent for me. I look forward to going back and seeing the tape, but that aspect of the game really stood out to me.
Did you think Joe looked tired in the second half?
I did.
What do you think that's a product of? Is that just him carrying a huge load?
I feel like it's a product of, he's really got a lot on his shoulders, and everybody can come sit down if you want to go grab a chair. I think he's got a lot on his shoulders, as far as the weight of our expectations on him, and he certainly expended a lot of energy in the first half. But I felt like he fatigued, and I give some of that credit to Indiana because of how physical they were in the second half.
Apologies for what's been said already. But
that's right.
Why is it that you guys have so much trouble with Thaddeus Young?
He's, because I coached him for that season, and studied him a long time before I coached him. He's elusive. Like his quickness to the ball and his tenacity when he is close to it, he comes up with things in traffic. We've seen it all here in Philadelphia. We know my comments well, and I just think that his ability to slide around and get to places quick, and we had Joel on him, and we tried to put Ben on Turner to deal with like the pick and roll notion of switching because Turner can shoot. At times I thought that was successful. Other times it was not, and we toggled. You could see they were trying to put Joe in pick and rolls. And so no matter where you went, Joe was going to find himself in a pick and roll. Thaddeus is good, I think, because of his quickness and his pop to the ball.
Brett, how do you get more out of Wilson, and realistically, what can you expect from somebody, age 31 now at this point in his career?
What we need the most is defensively, just doing what most times he does. And like the assignment, you have Oladipo, probably is a little bit foreign to him. When you're missing like Jimmy, and now you get back to like who's going to be the primary ball defensive player out of that core group. You look around, you're probably not going to have Ben do it, you're probably not going to have JJ do it, and so Wilson, because of his tenacity and his ability, I think, to sit down, for us, was the likely choice. Offensively, it always helps when our four men can make threes. They pack the paint. Mike and Wilson had opportunities, and they just didn't go in tonight. But those two things are the things that come to my mind the quickest.
Is it safe to say that the rest of your roster is a work in progress post-trade, still trying to figure out not only who to play, but where to play them and kind of how to make things work?
I don't feel like it's who to play and where to play them. You're left with Furkan and Landry, and so we know who it is and we know where we're going to play them. Now are they going to produce? So it's not in that notion. Like for me, it's not a mystery. Like here they are, because you start going down the list, and it's not like you're going to have a wide variety to choose from unless you want to throw like Shake into that mix. So it's not so much that. It's trying to get those guys, to expedite their birth certificates. They sure felt all of their physicality and how difficult Indiana is to score. Both Furkan and Landry, I thought, struggled defensively tonight.
Right, when Wilson went out with foul trouble earlier in the third, you brought Mike in very briefly, and then TJ came. And so what happened there? That you made the initial call, and then basically took it back so quickly. Right,
and so normally when a four-man gets in foul trouble, my notion quickly, because you got to figure out, do you want him in, you want to ride with it or not. I didn't want to, and I put him in. And then you start seeing what's on the floor. I thought we'd be better off with TJ and slide in Ben over, and so I just wanted to fix it quick.
Was Scott still finding his way here? He had respiratory problems still, or what? He definitely wasn't himself tonight.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to assume his sickness. He hasn't done anything physically for, 48 hours. It's the first time we saw him was tonight after not seeing him for 2 days. I don't know. You'd forgive him a little bit if you thought you just came out of a bed and you didn't play that well. You could probably justify that. I'm not going to lean on that as an excuse. He was down. You'd have to assume that had some connection to his illness.
What have you noticed about what Jimmy's doing on the bench during games when he's not playing?
I mean, he does the same thing in a locker room at halftime. He's incredibly engaged. He's really, you see different personalities in the league. Some people like to, be kind of quiet and subdued on a bench. Some people don't really. They would prefer to watch it in their own peace in a locker room, and share what they want to share when the team comes in. Jimmy's in the game. He's in the game. It just happens to be in a suit. And I appreciate and I respect his desire to contribute even in the environment where he is injured.
Again, apologies for coming in late.
That's right,
when you look at the box score after a game like that, does your eye automatically go to the missed shots?
No. I always try to feel out where did the game go missing. That's part of it for sure. But I thought that defensively in the second half we needed more, and we didn't get it. We needed especially more from our perimeter people defensively, and we just didn't get it. It sure would help offensively if we made some of those shots. But you look at, it's quite clear to say that Joel and JJ and Ben, carried the lion's share of the load tonight, and we certainly needed, other people to help.